There comes a moment in life when you realize exhaustion is not always caused by hard work. Sometimes it comes from constantly pouring yourself into people who only visit your heart when they need shelter. You answer every call. You say yes when you want to say no. You sacrifice your peace to avoid disappointing others. And slowly, without noticing, you begin abandoning yourself in the process. That's why some people need to learn how to be selfish. Not cruel, not heartless, just honest enough to stop setting themselves on fire to keep everyone else warm. Because somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that prioritizing ourselves was wrong, that rest meant laziness, that boundaries meant arrogance, that choosing your own happiness somehow made you a bad person. So we became experts at carrying everyone else's problems while silently drowning in our own. And the world praises that at first. People love the version of you that never says no, the version that overextends itself, the version that gives endlessly without asking for anything back. But eventually, that kind of kindness becomes self destruction disguised as loyalty. A tree cannot continue giving fruit if the roots are dying. Neither can you. Being selfish in the right way means protecting your energy before it disappears. It means understanding that your mental peace is not a public resource for everyone to consume. It means realizing you do not owe unlimited access to people simply because they are familiar to you. Sometimes growth requires disappointing people. That truth is uncomfortable, but necessary. Because if your entire life is spent making sure everyone else is happy, one day you will wake up and realize you never asked yourself whether you were happy at all. That's the tragedy too many people live. They become caretakers for everyone except themselves, smiling in public while privately feeling emotionally bankrupt. They fear being called selfish, so they continue shrinking their needs until there's barely anything left of them. But look closely at nature. The sun does not apologize for taking up space. The ocean does not beg permission to exist loudly. Even storms understand the importance of release. Why should you feel guilty for protecting your own well being? There is wisdom in learning when to pull back. Wisdom is saying, I cannot carry this anymore. Wisdom in understanding that peace is more valuable than constant approval. And strangely enough, when you finally start choosing yourself, you begin attracting people who respect you more deeply, because boundaries teach others how to value your presence. A person who never leaves the table, even when starving emotionally, eventually gets treated like they'll tolerate anything. Do not become that person. Be selfish with your time. Be selfish with your energy. Be selfish with your future. Guard your mind the way kings once guarded kingdoms, because your life is not meant to be spent entirely in the service of people who would not bleed for you the way you bleed for them. And no, choosing yourself will not make everyone happy. Some people benefited from your lack of boundaries. Of course, they'll complain when access becomes limited. Let them. So rest without guilt. Say no without explaining yourself. Walk away when your spirit feels drained. Protect your peace before the world convinces you that destroying yourself is somehow noble. Because there is a difference between kindness and self neglect. And the wisest people eventually learn this. Sometimes, the most necessary thing a person can do is become selfish enough to save themselves.